can be only one podcast, and may it be the Princes of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt.
And I'm Bruce.
And this is Mortal Kombat.
I've been waiting for this movie.
You've been waiting. Go ahead and talk about this. First off, hold on. We need to move back a little bit. Let's talk about the arcade. Okay, the arcade game.
Never really played it in the arcade.
I never did either.
But I did play it on Sega. Sega.
Well, when it came out, on whatever, I didn't have Sega. I can't remember what it came out on. No, I think it was exclusive to Sega?
No, because Nintendo had it, but it was non-bloody.
That's right. We had on Super Nintendo Killer Instinct, and that's what we played a lot of. And then when I got my PlayStation, I played one of the very few Star Wars games I ever loved was Masters of the Terrace Key, which is just a stupid rip-off Mortal Kombat fighting game.
Yeah.
But it had an EU storyline. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I never got into... I knew the characters. Everyone who didn't know Raiden, Johnny Cage,
Scorpion,
Sub-Zero.
Obviously, that's who everybody's thinking about.
Yeah, obviously. But the thing is, though, I never played the arcade that much. I didn't think much of it. In fact, I was a Killer Instinct big time. I loved Killer Instinct on I think it was Super Nintendo. It may have been N64. May have been N64 game. I can't remember now. I'm thinking back. But I thought it was Super Nintendo, and we just loved that freaking game. So I was always playing the offbeat games. When everyone was playing 007 GoldenEye, I was playing Duke Nukem 0 Hour and absolutely loving it. I hated GoldenEye. So I was like the odd man out when it came to popular Nintendo games like that. So I never really played Mortal Kombat. I understood the characters, and I saw the old 90s movie.
Love the 90s movie.
I was going to say this. It gets some hate and some snides and some eye rolls.
Only by dead people.
It's great.
I mean, I've watched it every few years. I just watched it within the last year.
It is so much fun.
It is fun.
And I would argue that it feels more like the arcade game than the new movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would say this, in a lot of ways...
costumes look good.
The acting is poor.
The action's a little poor, I'll be honest. Acting's a little poor.
But the fights are fun. Sonya Blade can't fight out of a paper bag, but
No, and the animatronic forearm, whatever monster. I
love Goro in that.
I love it too. They said, "Oh, such a disaster. He looks awful." And I said, "It's great."
And I would say also this, and also spoiler for both of them. Kano is pretty awesome in both movies.
Oh yeah. Well, let me stick on because we'll talk about the new movie. But Kano was awesome in the other one.
A moment.
Yeah, and then of course, who doesn't like Christopher Lambert as Raiden?
He's a lot of
It's
fun.
a special kind of magic. I remember when we were big into Highlander back then, so we were always happy to see Christopher Lambert in anything.
Made no sense for him to be playing Raiden, but hey,
is this his last big role?
Probably the last time his name was on the marquee.
He didn't come back as Raiden for the sequel, right?
No.
Okay, no one.
Dexter's dad was Raiden in the sequel.
Oh gosh, was he? I can't remember. Okay, but anyway, that first one was a lot of fun. It gets razzed a lot, but I actually enjoyed it. Now, the sequel was Annihilation. Not as good.
Oh, dude, it's say that it's not as good is not even to qualify it in the realm of where it needs to be.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it is the worst movie that I've seen the most.
Really?
I've probably
never rewatched it
half a dozen times.
Nope,
it's terrible. It is awful in all ways.
It came out in theaters,
I keep watching it,
and I remember because everyone was none of the characters.
I was there opening weekend. I mean, Liu Kang was back.
Oh, it was okay. Well, there wasn't enough to bring me back, and so I was like, no. And I saw it on video. Oh, I don't know. Did I go watch it with you then?
I know Dave Taylor went with me, and he was not happy.
Dang, I can't remember. I know I saw it. I don't know if it was in theaters or whatnot, but it was bad. It was bad. I've never watched it again. In fact, I've erased it from my memory. I really don't know that much about it.
It's like a really, really, really bad Power Rangers episode.
And it's sad because the first one was a big hit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one was a big hit. In fact, that Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, fight, playing on the radio station like, yeah, and then it played that opening song, "Let the Games Begin." It had the drums, doom. I loved it.
Yeah,
Shoot, I want to listen to that right now.
Techno Mortal Kombat is pretty fantastic.
Heck, I think I'm going to listen to that soundtrack in my car tomorrow. But yeah, so everything about that first movie that came out in 93.
No,
91?
it was after I was up here for college, so it had to be like 4 or 5.
Okay, 4 or 5.
94
Okay,
or 5.
fantastic. That was a fantastic one. The sequel came out in 98, 99.
It was a few years later, and it was all. Probably it was pre 98 because I was not dating Rachel.
Okay. So yeah, but it was bad. It was bad. And then that was it. I guess that killed the franchise, right?
That would kill any franchise.
That would have killed any franchise. Okay. It's one of the few movies you will actually talk bad about. That and Crow City of Angels are, I think, maybe the two movies you've ever talked bad about.
I say it's terrible and awful and all these things, but I keep going and watching it again. So I have a love for the characters in Mortal Kombat.
You're the guy that keeps punching himself in the face?
I mean, I've read the one Mortal Kombat novel that's come out. I've read the Malibu.
Was it based off a movie? Was it a new
No, it's
adventure?
kind of like a prequel to the first video game. It kind of sets him up and ends with the tournament beginning.
Who wrote it? Do you remember anything about this?
I don't remember the name.
I didn't even know there was a fan novel.
Background.
Did it come out around the movie or did it come out during the arcade?
It came out about that same time.
Okay, so it was supposed to be a prequel to the movie?
No. It was a prequel to the
okay, so it was supposed to be hyped off the video game.
Yeah.
I like when people that wasn't done that much on popular video games. Man, write a book about it. Write a sequel. Write a prequel about it. People would buy that stuff.
I enjoyed it.
I remember
it's been a long time. I can't remember any details, but I do remember enjoying it.
I don't remember this happening that much. Of course, I don't keep up with books all based off of video games, but I know that Halo struck while the iron was hot, and those first few novels everyone read. Yeah. Everyone read because I was into it. I wanted to hear more about Halo, and they struck while the iron is hot. Sometimes now you see it done out of nostalgia, and it's like, well, why didn't you do this when it first came out? And again, I'm not the authority in video game books, so.
I mean, I even read the Malibu series comic books. I think that was probably about.
When did those come out? Same time?
Yeah, I mean, this would probably been in the early 2000s.
Oh, okay, so
that was probably about 30
How
or 40 issues.
They?
I mean, I remember enjoying them, and they do keep the lore. They whoever was above the storytelling, they kept the lore pretty consistent. I mean, it was the story of the games, and it kind of went through several of the video games.
Do you remember the origin of Mortal Kombat? It was supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme fight game, and he showed up and was acting like a dick to all the developers. And they're like, dude, just take the pose. And he just thought it was just stupid. He had wasted his time. And they called the president and said, hey, he is being an absolute dick. And he goes, well, screw it. Get rid of him. Make up our own characters. We'll just do it on our own. And that was on, I think that's on the documentary Insert Coin, which is a fantastic documentary. But they talk about that, and so they said, okay, screw it. You know what? It'll be cheaper without having to pay him. Because Jean-Claude Van Damme, his talent is not for children's video game. He was above that or whatever. And they said, fine, screw it. We'll do our own. And they started making up their own characters, doing wild finishes. And when he showed the developer, he went, you can't pull a guy's spinal cord out of his neck. You can't do that. He goes, okay, well, I'll make it really hard to do. You have to hit a certain combination. He said, in day one, kids figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
And when it first happened, because they're just pushing a bunch of buttons, and when it happened, they all stopped, and they saw him rip out his spine. They went, yeah! And that's when he said, okay, you can do more blood.
It was the big thing back when it first came out was the blood and the violence.
I remember seeing it for the first time and going, what
I mean, it's a fun game, but that was just that extra level because it was bad. You weren't supposed to do that.
Yes, naughty video games.
Naughty.
I remember when Double Dragon came out, my parents we were not allowed to get it. I had to convince my dad. I remember what I convinced my dad to do because he said no, because you have to beat people up to a bloody pulp, and you can't have that game. And I said, Dad, you don't beat them up. I said, oh no. I said, once you punch them, they just blink away. He went, all right, fine. And he let us have it. I was like, oh my gosh. But I remember on our blog, there were certain kids who weren't allowed to play it. And if they were, when they told their mom they're going to come play Double Dragon, this was a thing back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay, but you hit girls in that video game. And so
I thought that's where you were going with your dad.
Mom didn't know they were girls because thankfully they were very butch women.
Yeah,
and she didn't pay much
attention.
Very pixelated back then. But they were women. And so I know Mrs. Jackson, our neighbor, found out. So Bill was not allowed to fight the women. And so sure enough, when the women came up, he said, here, he gave the control to us and we kicked the crap out of those women. And but he wasn't allowed to punch a woman because punching a woman's bad. And that's bad. And we never told Mom we were punching women. We threw away the instruction book so she wouldn't find out those were women. But no, they're just really muscular they're feminazis.
They were 8-bit.
They're
they were 8-bit
feminazis,
characters.
Dad. Rush Limbaugh tells you about them all the time. We're beating up feminazis. We're actually just talking to them with our fist. But Mortal Kombat was like, what? That was the big to do when it came out because it was super violent. But that's how it gained its popularity too. I don't think and they said it would not have been as popular had it not been for those. Special
in a lot of
moves.
ways, it is a very simple game.
Yes.
There was no reason for it to stand out, except it made a taboo.
Yeah. And it was one of the first ones like that really went all out, The boxing games had been around, but this was one that kind of just took it all to the special moves and stuff like that level. I think the only thing that rivals it in popularity would have been Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, at the time.
So, yeah, Street Fighter was very
Street Fighter
popular
2, really, because Street Fighter wasn't so much. But.
Yeah, I'm the Street Fighter series as a whole. But Mortal Kombat went on to do several sequels, I know. I like, again, I don't know much about the video games, but they did several sequels, right?
Oh, yeah. And
with new and more characters.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, and they kept a backstory for everything that was very consistent up until...
I heard that. I don't know anything about the backstory, but I heard the video game backstory is... People are saying this about the new movie, that the video game storyline was better.
Yeah.
I don't know it, but they said it's well put together, and they don't understand why the movie, even though a lot of people overall are happy with this new movie, the one complaint is, why didn't you take the video game storyline? That's so good.
Well, they take the basics. I
don't know.
I took the, as far as going into the new movie,
we'll dive into it.
It's got the
I didn't mind the storyline. I didn't mind the storyline, but when I read online, I was like, I wish they would have done the video game storyline. I was like, oh, okay, I thought they were. But first off, this is the way you got it. I know that the creators of Mortal Kombat, when they were watching this movie, they were going, F yes, this is what we want. Because it's rated R, right?
Yeah.
Lots of cussing, lots of violence, which is great. I mean, fun violence, not gross saw violence, just fun. Like, we'll do a little bit of spoilers. I'll try to refrain from some spoilers. We're going to do some spoilers, okay? I'm just going to say that right now. Spoilers.
They do Kung Lao's Fatality or Molina.
And that was awesome. That's got to be one of the best deaths in it. But he goes, Fatality. Flawless victory. I like how they were, and I'll be honest, it seemed cheesy in the
decent natural use of some of the game.
Yes, they did. In the '90s movie, there was a lot of cheesy video game references. I love it. By the way.
Yeah.
However, this movie did the same references, but didn't feel cheesy. Kano wins. And
I will say this:
that's great.
Kano was the best part.
Kano's great.
He was fantastic, and from what I hear, he's like a Australian comedian, stand-up comedian. They brought him he was an insult comedian, and they brought him
he got beat up for it too. Then
I don't know what he really supposed to look like, but
he was great.
But they brought him in, they just let him do his thing, and he was fantastic.
It was
he
great.
He stole every scene he was
every time they said flawless victory, fatality. It didn't seem cheesy. Obviously, it's a wink to the video game, but it sounded good. It was done straight. To be honest, there wasn't. There are some newer characters that I didn't recognize.
Only one new character.
Which one was that one? The one with the hat?
No,
because I didn't recognize him.
2 or 3.
Okay, see, I didn't recognize him. I didn't know him.
Yeah, when he.
I know he had a big grand entrance, and I know everyone's going woo, and I was going, I don't know who that is, but obviously he's a cool character. I didn't know, and he was great.
Yeah, some of the characters I wasn't as familiar with, like the guy with the hammer, but I know he is from one of the later games.
See, I remember, but maybe I just remember that character.
You've probably seen him in
the video game.
Yeah, but he's not one of the originals. I'm kind of surprised they didn't use more of the earlier game.
Is there someone that's glaringly missing? Because I didn't notice anyone glaringly missing. Of course, I'm not the biggest.
Johnny Cage, but then they had the references for him to be in the sequel.
Well, yeah, they referenced him a lot, which I was kind of happy they didn't go that route because Johnny Cage was the focus of the first movie.
Yeah.
And it's not a repeat. We went with someone else, which I was impressed with. I love Liu Kang in this. He was awesome. So
and there's a lot of fan push to get Ryan Reynolds to play Johnny Cage.
Oh, that'd be fun. But and it's okay. I mean, I think Johnny Cage probably should have been in the first one, but I didn't want him to be the center of the story.
The big surprise for me was this was not the tournament. It was all pre-tournament.
Oh yeah.
They set up for the sequel if they hopefully can get around to it. Will be the tournament, and that would be when you bring Johnny Cage in.
Shocked that they killed off so many characters. I was a little surprised.
I'm not surprised.
We're building a franchise here. That's why I'm surprised. I'm happy. I was happy for every
Well,
death.
the thing is, Kano dying, I'm going to miss him as the actor because the actor was fantastic in the series. But,
and then, what's his name dying, too?
As far as going and looking at the game story, you don't notice a lot of the game story unless you read online or in some of the books they put out at the time. Kano is a playable character in the first game. In the second game, on one of the levels, you see him tied up in the background, and in the third game, he's dead. And so they have this interesting way of pulling the story through.
It's funny.
And they do that for other characters as well, where they might be in the next game, but you're not playing them. You just see them in the background. In the background, in like Reptile, he's like an unlockable character in the first game, and so they have done interesting things with him in the first movie and in this one. Which this one they kind of downplayed him because I like Reptile.
And Reptile. I forgot about him.
Kano wins.
Right, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay. In the game, he's the green.
He's the
Scorpio
green
ninja. Yeah. Okay, I didn't make that connection at first. I guess in the movie,
I guess in the movie it's proper doesn't say that, so they could bring him back in another way if they wanted to. But
that's a shame because
he did have all the same powers. Outfit. He had all the same powers.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is him. Okay. Now the new movie is great. I really enjoyed the action. It's a fun. It's a fun game.
It's a fun movie. If you're going to go into it looking for the best story you've ever seen,
it is not got the best story. It does have some slow moments.
It is enjoyable,
but it's enjoyable.
It's a good time.
It's enjoyable. There's plenty of laughs in there. Sub-Zero, lots of cool ideas. I didn't like the big focus on Sub-Zero. I mean, yeah, he's the big baddie, but he's always it's like we're always seeing him as the central thing. Scorpio comes in at the end. Scorpion, excuse me. That comes at the end.
I did feel like we knew Scorpion, and we have the one new character is that I don't even remember his name.
The main character.
The main character.
Yeah, I don't remember him either.
And he's a descendant of Scorpion, and part of me was thinking and scared that he was going to turn into Scorpion.
At the end,
towards the end.
I didn't think about
that.
I'm
glad they brought him back from hell because that's his story in the game. Is he he comes back from hell. That's why when he pulls his mask off in the game, he's a skull and spits hellfire.
Right.
Which so they used him well. I wanted more Scorpion because he's always been my favorite character.
I did want more. If you're going to do Sub-Zero so big, you got to put Scorpion in it more. We knew that was Scorpion. Yeah. We knew he'd come in, but he comes in at the very end. You're like, okay, that's cool, but I really wish I'd seen more of you. Because we should have seen him tearing through people, Sub-Zero tearing through people, and then them meeting, have big climactic battle.
And it's kind of weird, last year they came out with an animated, from the same
people that do I meant to watch that. I didn't get a chance to.
It's the same people that do the DC movies.
You enjoyed that.
I did. It's fun.
Yeah. That came out just a few years ago, right?
The thing is, it's got a lot of similarities to the new movie as well. It's you almost could call it spoilerific.
So
especially the opening. It's almost the same opening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Did they borrow liberally from the cartoon?
Well, the movie was made first.
Oh, okay. They just happen to have the same ideas at the same time. Well, I mean,
they're going back to the storylines from the story.
Yeah, I did see that. I was thinking about watching it, but I'm not really tied into Mortal Kombat as much. But I'll be honest, I got to see the '90s one again.
Oh, go ahead.
The whole time I was going, I like the costumes fine for this one. In fact, I thought Liu Kang looks better than he does in the old '90s version. Thought he really looked good. So some of the costumes were really good, but I just miss those classic Sub-Zero, Scorpion.
And the thing is, I love the setting in the old one. I mean, it's very stage. It looks like a movie stage.
It is a movie stage.
I love the look of it.
But so is the video game. Basically, it's just one big stage. Yeah. So, there's some good stuff here. I like how, what's his name? Jax's arms are
they tied it into Sub-Zero this time.
Yeah. Which
Sub-Zero is not the original origin of that. But
yeah, but they kind of made it. That was kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's nice. I keep thinking, what if, Brawl and Cellblock 99 had directed this movie? That's what I want. We would have seen some fatality. You want to see some good blood? He would have done it. Now, the thing is, though, who would Vince Vaughn be? That's what I want to know, because he'd have to be in this movie just throwing haymakers the whole time. I want to see Vince Vaughn's character from Cell Block 99 go into Mortal Kombat. I want to see that's the crossover I want, where he just starts just walloping on what's it called?
I need to watch that again. That's such a good movie.
Oh, it's such a good movie. It's such a good. But you talk about violent, folks. There's some moments that are going to make your skin crawl, but if it's me, or make your wife go back in the back and give you mean eyes of why Bruce suggested this movie, because it's an awful movie. My brother said his favorite scene is Vince Vaughn versus the car. He said that's the best scene in movie history. He doesn't like the movie. He doesn't like the movie overall. He thinks the movie's a little too violent for his taste.
Yeah,
but he said. He said, "I've never seen someone beat up a car and it looks so good. Yeah. I mean, real and everything.
And
it looks funny.
Just the story beats that going on during that time are fantastic.
I love
the reason why he's beating up the car.
Attack and
what happens
99.
after that. I mean, I love that.
Honestly, from that maker, that's my favorite. That's my favorite movie he's made. Bone Tomahawk. Bone Tomahawk's number 2.
Dragged Across
Concrete is good, but you know what? Thinking back on it, Run, Fight, Hide, or whatever, Hide, Fight, Run, whatever
it's
it's called.
Producer.
It's not the director. Oh, it's not. Okay, all right. That was a good one. That's like I told you, that's a high school Die Hard, which I enjoyed. So, Dragged Across Concrete. Then I've seen that. Has he made any other ones? That's even though I love that one, that's my least favorite of the 3 now. And that was one of the first ones I saw.
I think this was only 3 movies so far.
I saw Bone Tomahawk, then I watched Dragged Across Concrete. Bone Tomahawk was winning until Attack on Cell Block 99, and I think that movie is just unbelievably. I could watch it right now. I really could. And the thing is, though, if you think about it, it's kind of, in a way, slow. I was engaged the whole time, but the action really doesn't start ramping up till it goes to the prison. And then even then, it's still, toward the second half of the movie when it just kind of ramps up higher and higher, and I'm going, this is great. And I think by the time the broken bone of the arm of the security guard, that's when my wife was thinking about calling it quits. And then when she kind of saw
if that's going to make you quit, then yes, you need to stop there.
When she saw where it was going, she went, "Oh, this is going to be a violent film. Okay, I'm done." And dude, the guy getting his face. I think it's so good. I think it is so good. I could not. I'm that weird person who just had to awkwardly laugh in that movie. It was so funny, so good. But anyway, Mortal Kombat. Let's get back to that one. Sorry, we kind of get off. You haven't seen Nobody yet, right?
Not
I almost spoiled something from Nobody yet. Nobody's pretty good too. It's like if John Wick is the Avengers
it's the same
movies,
people that do John Wick, right?
Then it's the same writer. If John Wick is the Avengers movie, then Nobody is a Captain America movie. Okay. A good. It's not on the level of Avengers, but you're gonna love it.
Yeah,
you're gonna love it. Bob Odenkirk, is that his name? Yeah. Odenkirk. Yeah, he does a great job. And
I enjoy him.
It's the same type story.
No, he used to write on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he did.
Now he's an action hero.
Now he loved doing that movie too. There's nothing that tells me he didn't love doing that. movie.
I think I'm looking forward to watching it because part of me is just like,
why
are they putting him in this movie?
You know who plays his dad, right?
No, I don't know anything.
I can't spoil that.
I saw half of the trailer. I was like, I'm going to watch this. I'm just going to stop.
The actor who plays his dad has got to be close to 90 now, and it's an actor you know, and he gets an action scene, and they don't make him look old, even though I know he can hardly move around. But it's really good. It's really good. I laughed out loud a couple of times, and when I laugh, that means I'm just really enjoying that movie, and I love Nobody. So, what was the other movie you said you saw that I watched? There's another movie. I said, "Oh yeah, you finally saw that."
Boss Level.
Boss Level, yeah. Real quick, we have time to talk about Boss Level. Boss Level is one of those, repeat the day over again, which, to be honest, we were talking about this. We've never seen a bad version of that. Please, Hollywood, don't prove me wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some out there, but I haven't watched it yet.
And so Boss Level I avoided because I heard it was that kind of thing. I was like, no, I don't want to see it. But then everyone kept saying it was really good. I was like, okay, let's see. It is really good. Yeah, I mean... It's up there with the rest of the movie.
And even the thing is, it's an action movie, but then when it moves over to have this
sentimental part, it's good.
This section of heart.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, you earned this. You earned this.
Yeah, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, wow, this movie, it surprised me. It could have been just one thing, at first, how the movie's going. It could have been that one thing where he's, obviously, it's like a video game. He's leveling up to get to kill the boss, to kill all the bad guys and kill him. But... it says, no, we're more than that.
Yeah.
And it took a few turns.
Basically, he's got to go do a side quest.
Yeah, he's got to do a side quest, achieve that. Then he gets, on top of that, the whole day reformats. The whole goal just totally changes at the very end. He's like, wait a minute. And so now he can change. So it's not going the way you thought it was. It takes another turn. It's got a twist in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really smart.
And they give you a reason for the loop. And
yes.
They give you a close for the loop. And you know, in a way, it's a cliffhanger ending, but it was a fun. You know, you still are enjoyable.
Yeah. No, it was very enjoyable. I was very pleased by that. I'm glad I finally saw that because I read about it and went, because I thought it was a cheap direct-to-video. That's this thing with all the streaming stuff.
You don't know what's direct-to-video.
We don't know if we're getting catfished or not on these action movies now because everyone's bringing out the stuff. You're like, oh, is that good? No, it's crap. They just know that they can get away with it. Right now because everything's streaming right now. But that's a really solid film. That's on Netflix, right?
Hulu.
Hulu, I'm sorry. Yeah, you definitely need to check out that. That one's Boss Level is just fantastic. It's really good. It's got a lot of good humor in it too, and some great moments and good action scenes too. I mean, really good fight scenes and everything. And I was, like I said, another movie. It's hard to engage me the whole time. A lot of times with these movies, I've told you this. Me and Megan have to pause and say, "Are you tired? Yeah, let's go to bed." Because it's just wearing us like in game. Good gravy. We took 3 nights to watch that stupid movie, and not that it was bad. It's just long. And the thing is, though, if it's engaging enough, I'm gonna stay there the whole way. Like. There's a piece of me that wants to all watch the John Wick trilogy again. I think I'm going to do that this summer with my brother because he's yet seen the third one. I say you've not seen the third one, which
When's
is
4 coming out?
I don't know, but they're filming it now. I don't think they've wrapped yet, but they're filming it now, and I can't wait. I'm sure it's going to come out next year, but I can't wait. I thought 3 was the best of the bunch. And I can't believe these movies just keep getting better.
I enjoy 3, but the first one's still the
well, the first one's solid.
The thing is, the first one is just grounded.
No,
level,
I agree.
And they blow it up bigger and bigger, and I enjoy it.
By the way,
I almost wish they kept
2 has the best ending. 2 is the best ending ever. It's the worst of the 3, kind of in a way for me, but it's got the best ending ever. And then 3 is just, I must have laughed. There was tons of people in theaters. I was the only one laughing. I was just enjoying. I was probably annoying people. I was like, yeah. And I wasn't making fun of the movie. I was like, yeah, that's hilarious. What? Nah, just this is great. And cheering the whole way like a little kid. I mean, John Wick, man, that gets me up for breakfast in the morning. Goals. I want to be John Wick. I want to be Keanu Reeves. Dude, I think that's the #1 guy in Hollywood I'd like to meet right now. Can you shoot me? No,
they say he's a very nice guy, but he's not going to touch you.
Well, yeah, he's got those hover hands. They kind of creeps me out.
He was hover hands before
hover hands were a thing. Yeah,
before it became a thing that
he's a gentleman and a scholar and
very careful about his getting in trouble.
And you know what? He's more self-aware than most people were even back then. So,
he was self-aware before the actors.
Before it was a thing. So, but yeah, Nobody's pretty good. Boss Level's good. And as action films go, I'm always looking out for them, but that's the hard thing. You don't know what's crap these days. It's hard to separate the crap from the good stuff.
Hard to tell what was direct-to-video and what was intended for theaters. And what was intended for theaters is not always a good thing, and what was meant for home video doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
True. And real quick,
now it's just more confusing than ever.
Now we should get back on topic of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, see it.
Yes.
I say watch it.
Yeah,
it's a popcorn film. It's a lot of fun.
It's very basic.
It's not the best thing in the world, but it's worth your time. I think it did. I don't know streaming numbers. They don't reveal that, but I think it did well, right?
I mean, from what I saw, it did better than the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh, yay! I'll be honest, it was much better than the Snyder cut, in my opinion.
But I'm just saying, as far as just a level,
Well, good. I mean, I could watch a sequel. I'm not demanding a sequel.
No,
I definitely watch it.
I want it.
It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
And hopefully they'll do it.
So yeah, check it out. Mortal Kombat. And by the way, both of us didn't really play the video game, so we were still interested in seeing this. You probably more than me, to be honest.
I really only played mostly the first 3 video games.
Okay.
And then after that, I did follow the story.
Yeah.
I read about it.
I
kept
knew
up with the story 'cause
I knew
did
the
enjoy the story.
characters. I may have played it once or
like the
twice here or
characters.
there, but I was never good at pushing a bunch of buttons, so I usually got beat. And no, never mind. He was a Street Fighter too. That the Ethiopian guy who stretched a lot.
yeah.
I hated that dude because he had that.
Speaking
cheat
of
move where he
which,
could just hit
I
you.
did go back recently and watch the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Please don't.
Highly recommend. It is one of the best bad movies I've ever seen. It is terrible. I do not recommend this unless you like bad movie because I laughed a lot. It
So
was
bad it's good?
It was really fun. I remember watching it in theaters, and walking away in disgust, and but I rewatched it. Some podcasts I listened to had covered it, and I was like, okay. It was on sale. Got it for just like $2.
Oh my goodness.
And I watched it with Brody, and because we had just watched Mortal Kombat. And I was like, hey, you want to watch The Competitor? It's terrible. It is really, truly an awful in all the right ways.
Thanks for bringing down the conversation at the end there. Appreciate that. All right, folks. We'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.